Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. So today we're going to be doing this sketch here. It is one that I got from Pinterest, and I think my Pinterest page is linked down below. It should be, and you can always go over there. I keep a board of card sketches for inspiration, and you guys can definitely, click that link and go check them out. So we decided, or I decided, to do a slimline, or my version of a slimline card today. Basically, I cut it at 7 by 7, and then I scored at 3.5 on one of the sides. So that way I would have a 3.5 by 7 inch card. And right now what I'm doing is I'm taking some Post-it and I'm using the grid on my mat to line it up to basically lay it down on the card front, because I'm going to actually do my ink blending straight to the card front. And if you're afraid of getting, anything on the back side of the card, just take another piece of Post-it and put it down. And I actually use the Post-it to kind of ink up kind of off of the cardstock to that way I won't have any kind of sharp edges. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes if you go straight to the paper, you'll get like really dark smudges right away. And this isn't Bristol paper. This is actually Neenah cardstock. So with this one, I knew I wanted to make sure that I started off on the Post-it note and then gradually brought the color onto the actual card itself. And I'm doing the three kind of rectangle shapes, and I'm going to make it as even as I can and just blend basically the pink, green, and then the grayish color I'm using is Stormy Sky. And you just keep blending until you get it to the smoothness that you want, and also the deepness of the color. The picked raspberries is probably my favorite pink. I use that one probably the most out of all of them. And it's really just because it's so vibrant. And then I like crushed olive, which is what we're using as far as the green. And I think my go-to gray is Stormy Sky. It's something about it is that bluish blue gray that I really like. So now as we peel off the masking tape, or the Post-it tape I should say, we have a nice crisp line, and the Post-it tape doesn't tear off your paper either. It pulls up really easily. I'm just going to clean up some of that ink blending that got onto the glass mat, and then we have our 3 blocks. And if you wanted to, you could put across. Now you just have to be careful, because obviously I don't have the sides on anymore, and you can create a little bit of a mess. But this particular way would be if you wanted to make your lines for your sections a little bit more crisper. And I did get a little bit over there, but I'm just going to grab, I had that Tombow eraser, and just kind of use it to get that little bit of ink that got off on the sides. It wasn't a whole lot, so the eraser won't will work fine. So now I'm just trying to dry it. I'm using my heat tool, my Tim Holtz heat tool. And there is a little bit of warping going on, so when I get ready to stamp, I am going to use a trick that I got from watching, I think her name is Kathy Zilski. So if you check her out on YouTube, she's got some really great videos, and she's funny. I enjoy watching them. And when she's doing her inking or preparing her card front, she always puts a little bit of purple tape on the inside to keep it closed and flat. So I think I wind up doing that. If not, right here, do I do it at the end? I can't remember. But I know I do use some of that purple tape, and it helps. Even after I was done filming, I kind of left it because of that warping. I wanted it to stay in that position for as long as I could, so that way it wouldn't look all weird shaped. So we're treating our paper because I decided on this particular version I wanted to do some heat embossing. On the first card I made, which you'll see in a little bit, I didn't do any embossing. I just did the straight ink to paper and just left it as is. And it still turned out really nice. But this with the heat embossing, it just does a little something. So we're gonna grab our clear embossing powder, and because the Versaclear is more of a pigment ink, it stays wet long enough that it will pick up the clear embossing ink and give it a nice little shine. And then as long as the Distress ink is completely dry, it won't stick anywhere where it's not supposed to. But I'm not mad at it. I mean, it's a clear embossing ink, so with it being clear, it's not going to be a problem. And of course, I go to use my heat tool and it's unplugged. Because that's how it goes, right? So we're going to heat this up, let this warm up a little bit. Because you always want it to get hot first before you put it to the paper. And that'll help minimize some of that warpage. So we're going to just heat this up real quick. And it doesn't take long. It's not a whole lot that's on there, and it really takes just a matter of seconds once you let your heat tool warm up. And you see how it's lifting up, and it's just not laying right. So I'm grabbing some of that purple tape and I'm going to close it and let it sit there for a while like that. And then I did the same thing with this one, so that way, like I said, they'll be closed and they'll keep that shape when everything is done. And that is the card. So, and you can do so much with this. Obviously, the one flower, if you had like almost like a border of flowers, you could create so many different images using this. It's really endless, and the only thing that you have to do is change your colors. You can do different 3 colors mixing with the Distress regular inks. I used oxides, but it's just fun. Use your inks. You can use dye inks. Maybe that's what I'll do the next time. Grab my dye inks and show you guys how to use those. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And make sure you hit the bell next to it so that way you get notifications whenever I upload new videos. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And of course, I will see you with our next video.